By the time October rolled around, the heat had disappeared, but the anger hadn't. It had just settled. Deep. Quiet. Like something buried under concrete. Most people think anger burns hot. Explodes. Screams. They're wrong. The most dangerous kind of anger is the kind that learns how to wait. And that's exactly what happened to him. He never told anyone how that day actually felt. Not the supervisors who laughed it off. Not the coworkers who shrugged and said, "Yeah, those people suck." Not even himself, at least, not honestly. Because the truth was, it stayed with him. Every time he put on the uniform. Every time he adjusted the satchel across his chest. Every time he walked up to a house that looked just a little too expensive for its owner's personality. That woman's voice never left his head. Accusing. Shrill. Certain. Like she knew what kind of man he was, without knowing him at all. He'd been a mail carrier for years. Years of rain-soaked envelopes. Sunburned necks. Dogs snapping at his calves. People who smiled when they needed something, and forgot you existed when they didn't. He knew his place in the food chain. Invisible. Replaceable. Useful, but never respected. But that day in July, that was different. That was the first time someone looked at him like he was filth. He remembered it too clearly. The way she came running. The way her shoes crunched the gravel like she was already rehearsing her outrage. Not scared. No. Offended. As if the mere presence of him, his uniform, his job, his existence, had violated something sacred. "You were in my backyard," she'd said. Not asked. Declared. He'd explained. Calmly. Professionally. Mailbox. Route. Confusion. Didn't matter. Because she'd already decided who he was. A criminal. A junkie. A thief in waiting. Someone who needed to be handled. And the worst part? It wasn't her. It was how easy it was for her. How natural it felt. Like she'd been waiting her whole life to finally say those things out loud, and he just happened to be the safest target. When the supervisors laughed, he laughed too. What else was he supposed to do? Get angry? Make a scene? Prove her right? So he swallowed it. Filed it away. And told himself what every working-class person tells themselves at least once in their life. Let it go. It's not worth it. Weeks passed. Then months. Summer bled into fall. Leaves changed color. Roots rotated. Life moved forward. And for a while, he almost forgot. Almost. Until the scanner beeped one morning. New assignment. Short route. Temporary coverage. He scrolled. Street name. And there it was. That street. His thumb hovered over the screen longer than it needed to. He felt it before he thought it. That tightness in the chest. That subtle clench in the jaw. The body remembers things the mind pretends it doesn't. He told himself he was fine. Told himself it didn't matter. Told himself it was just another house. Another stop. Another piece of mail. But his hands betrayed him. They moved slower as he prepped the bundles. He separated envelopes more carefully than usual. Almost ceremonially. The ProMaster's engine hummed as he pulled onto the street. Same houses. Same manicured lawns. Same quiet wealth that somehow always felt like judgment. And then. That house. The one with the perfect siding. The one with the front door that blended too well with the mail slot. The one that had decided months ago that he was less than human. He parked. Sat there. Didn't move. For a full 10 seconds. Which, in that job, is a long time. He thought about walking it like normal. Dropping the mail. Leaving. Letting it end there. That's what the good version of him would have done. The version that believed dignity came from silence. The version that believed respect was earned by enduring disrespect. But then another thought crept in. Quieter. Colder. They'll never know how close they were to being wrong. They'd called him a criminal. A drug addict. A lowlife. They'd tried to get him fired without hesitation, without proof, without remorse. And nothing had happened. No consequences. No apology. No accountability. The door between the cab and the cargo area slid shut with a soft click. A sound so small, but it felt final. Inside the back of the truck, it was quiet. Muted. Just the rustle of paper. The faint smell of cardboard and ink. He picked up their mail. Bills. Flyers. Personal envelopes. So ordinary. So intimate. Things meant for hands that had pointed at him in disgust. His heart wasn't racing. That surprised him. There was no adrenaline. No panic. Just a steady, controlled calm. The kind that comes when you stop pretending you're above something, and accept exactly who you are in that moment. This is stupid, he thought. Then. No. This is nothing. Compared to what they'd tried to do to him. He didn't think about cameras. Didn't think about consequences. Didn't think about morality. Because this wasn't about thrill. It was about balance. About taking back something that had been taken from him, his dignity, his control, his sense of power. The act itself was quick. Deliberate. Not theatrical. Not emotional. Just, final. Every piece. No exceptions. Because they hadn't given him one. When it was done, he stood there for a second longer. Breathing. Listening to his own heartbeat. Waiting for guilt. For shame. For regret. None came. He slid the door open. Stepped back into the driver's seat. Started the engine. And pulled away like it was just another stop. As the house disappeared in the mirror, one thought finally surfaced, clear and undeniable. They'll open that mail thinking they're better than me. And they'll never know. And for the first time since July, he smiled. He didn't feel powerful right away. That surprised him. Movies make revenge look like lightning, fast, loud, electric. Reality is quieter. It settles in slowly, like warmth returning to fingers after the cold. The rest of the route passed in a blur. Same motions. Same steps. Same polite nods from people who didn't know his name and never cared to learn it. But something inside him had shifted. Not lighter. Sharper. That night, lying in bed, he stared at the ceiling longer than usual. The room was dark. Silent. No phone. No music. Just thoughts. He replayed the moment again and again. Not the act. The reason. The accusation. The way she'd said, "I know what you were doing." That certainty. That entitlement. And for the first time, instead of feeling small beneath it, he felt detached. Almost curious. What kind of people are that confident in their own righteousness? The kind who've never been questioned. The kind who've never been wrong and paid for it. He wondered what they were doing now. Probably sitting in their immaculate kitchen. Coffee cups on granite countertops. Mail spread neatly across the table. Sorting. Judging. Complaining about bills. He imagined the husband. The way his supervisor described him. Angry. Loud. Convinced the world owed him explanations. A man who'd never once considered the possibility that he might be the problem. Sleep came late. But when it did, it was deep. Dreamless. The next day, nothing happened. No phone call. No confrontation. No police. Just another shift. Another route. Another uniform pulled on without ceremony. That's when it hit him. They'd never know. And more importantly, they'd never learn. That realization twisted something inside him. Not guilt. Disappointment. He started noticing things he hadn't before. The way people talked to him when they were frustrated. The way some avoided eye contact entirely. The way others spoke slowly, like he might not understand. All while handing him pieces of their lives sealed inside paper. Addresses. Bank statements. Medical notices. Trust, disguised as routine. Mail carriers see everything. And are seen by no one. A week passed. Then another. Still nothing. No complaint. No escalation. Which meant one thing. They hadn't suspected a thing. And that made the memory evolve. What had started as retaliation began to feel like unfinished business. Not because he wanted more, but because they'd gotten exactly what they always got. Silence. He started thinking back to the regular carrier on that route. The coworker who'd warned him. Biggest assholes on my route. Plural. Not just a bad day. Not just stress. A pattern. That's what bothered him most. They'd done this before. To her. To others. He'd just been the unlucky one they went all in on. And suddenly, the anger wasn't just personal. It was systemic. They treated service workers like disposable obstacles. And the world kept letting them. He found himself scanning the schedule more often. Not obsessively. Just, aware. Watching. Waiting. Another month passed. Late fall now. Grey skies. Shorter days. Colder air. The kind of weather that strips everything down to essentials. And then, again. Their street. This time, his reaction was different. No spike. No hesitation. Just recognition. Like seeing a familiar face in a crowd. As he drove, a thought surfaced that made him exhale through his nose in quiet amusement. They probably still tell that story. The suspicious mailman. The attempted robbery. The moment they were almost victims. Almost heroes. People like that don't let go of narratives. They polish them. Repeat them. Use them as proof that they're always right. He parked. Same spot. Same house. Same quiet arrogance baked into brick and wood. This time, he noticed details. A security sticker on the window. A new one. Bright. Performative. The kind that says we're important enough to be targeted. He shook his head. Not in anger. In disbelief. He reached into the back. Picked up the mail. And for a brief moment, he considered just delivering it normally. Not because he felt bad. But because he felt done. Then he remembered the laughter. The supervisors laughing. The power imbalance. How easily his livelihood had been threatened for nothing more than existing in the wrong place. That calm returned. That same controlled stillness. The door slid shut again. This time, it didn't feel heavy. It felt routine. He didn't rush. Didn't savor. Didn't dramatize. Because this wasn't revenge anymore. It was closure. When he was finished, he paused. Just long enough to acknowledge a truth he hadn't wanted to face before. This isn't about them anymore. It was about reclaiming something. Something they'd never even realized they'd tried to take. He delivered the mail. Through the slot. Neatly. Professionally. Like nothing had happened. As he walked back to the truck, he felt lighter. Not euphoric. Resolved. Driving away, he didn't look back this time. Didn't need to. Some doors don't require witnesses when they close.